Hey everybody, it's Bust with Busted Strategies number 16. Let's go ahead and jump ourselves into another Innistrad draft. Looking good, looking good. There we go, that queue's filling real fast. Never cutting these parts of the videos out, just go ahead and get used to it. Look at that, everybody joined in on the first try. Good stuff, good stuff. So, okay, interesting set of cards. The let me see. I think it's a little easier to see this way at this part of the video. But there's like a handful of good ones here, right? Curse of Surveillance is fine. I'm not like really amped up about a Curse of Surveillance, but this is a good, kind of late game card. The problem with this is if you're not ahead or at least even when you play it, it doesn't help you catch back up, and it's extremely punishing to try to play a 5-drop and just have it not do enough quickly. And so I'm willing to let that go. Otherwise, here there's a Shadow Beast sighting, but I don't really want to start in green when there's other good options around. And then there's some decent white cards up here in the Bereaved Survivor and the Gavany Dawn Guard. And so with this, we're just going to go ahead and start with the Dawn Guard. It's, I think, the more powerful of the two. Just having this 3/3 stat line can shut down quite a few boards, and then we'll have to just see if this turns out to be a little ridiculous and the Shadow Beast sighting comes back. The only kind of downside to starting with this Dawn Guard was there was like 4 or 5 good white cards in that pack, and so it's kind of sending some signals down the road that white could potentially be open when you get like a pick 7 candle trap or something. But moving on to the next one, this should be a pretty easy Candle Grove Witch. I like if you're gonna go into black red, like this is the kind of dude that makes you want to do it. I mean, I could see an argument for just diving in on this vampire socialite. Like it's not even completely unreasonable to think that something like Hungry for More would wheel because it's just not a very powerful card. But it's tough. Like this is the one, right? But like my thing with kind of like vampire socialites, I'm not really amped about it unless we have things like the it's not going to call it thermogenic beam, but that dude that just spits off points of damage and then untaps when you play a spell. I guess this is probably like powerful enough to just like see if we can't high roll some vampires. The pack 3 here didn't help, but we do have a Hound Tamer showing up, and I think this is going to be our pick here. Just nothing really points towards playing white or playing black-red with this pack. I'm more than happy to go into green-white. That's one of the stronger color combinations, and the Hound Tamer is fantastic there. But I think I would rather go for the high-powered play in the Hound Tamer here as opposed to taking the on-color, kind of slightly better than average Gavany Silversmith. So I think this is okay. Okay, and then yeah, weird set of cards. Like nothing particularly juicy here. I think black red is just completely off the table at this point. Like we tried with the socialite, but if the cards aren't really like flowing, I think it has to be like super open for me to want to draft black red. So we'll let that one go. So here I am fine to continue on with this path of green and white. The Gavany Trapper helps out with immensely with hitting covens, which don't have the coven units here, but I'm sure they'll show up to some degree. And then otherwise, like we're just missing out on a Silver Bolt, which it's sort of a removal spell in the Gavany Trapper. I could see an argument to want to go ahead and come in and pick it up. Okay, alrighty. Well, the green's rolling through. We do love ourselves a Shadow Beast sighting. I think I'm happy enough to continue on with green white at this point. We do have quite a powerful set of cards coming together with these. So we'll add in the Shadow Beast sighting. I'm just going to go ahead and push the Socialite back out and see what comes together here. So I think we can kind of switch over to curve view now. Hopefully you're familiar enough with these cards to know what's happening. And then if we're not really missing out on anything in these other colors, so I'm kind of happy with where we're at. I don't feel like this is an eccentric farmer deck. Like we've already got 2 3-drops, so I'm just going to push down the curve a bit with a Cathar Commando. Okay, so then another reasonably weak set of cards. We do have a 3-attack 2-drop with the Harvesttide Sentry. We're never going to be taking advantage of Willowgeist in this style of deck, so let's continue on with the Harvesttide. Not a bad curve, not a bad curve. Reasonable sets of cards coming through here. And so with these, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Cathar Commando again. I've been like more and more impressed with Flare of Faith these days. I mean, it's not the ridiculous combat trick, but I feel like it's something that I'm valuing like a little bit too low. But I think we shouldn't have too much trouble picking up one throughout the trial here. Okay, oh boy, look, the Shadow Beast sighting did table, also with a Candle Trap and a Cathar Commando. I'm just going to go with the Shadow Beast sighting here. I still think that this is probably the best green common in the set, and it really helps out quite a bit with these covens, right? It's very easy to have a bunch of 2s and 3s. Looks like we just super stacked on 3 attack units now, but more than likely you're going to have like a 2 and a 3 on the board, and then need to find something else in the curve, and the Shadow Beast sighting is fantastic at that. But here we'll just draft the uncommon. It did table, right? We got our vampire package here in the sideboard that we're just never playing, but it made its way there. Let's go ahead and slam a plummet in the board. We'll add Bounding Wolf to the main. I don't think we're ever going to play it, but it's a reasonable selection. And oh man, that feels really good, picking up the Snarling Wolf and the Candlelit Cathar as a pick 13 and 14. That curved out fantastically. And now we have the Adeline Resplendent Cathar, fantastic unit here. She grows pretty big in this format. She just has a power equal to the number of creatures you control, and then she's very good at getting these tokens on the board to help out with covens. So she doesn't have to be the one to attack to get this 1/1 human onto the board. Just all around fantastic card. And then the only like things I'm otherwise looking at here is we do need to look towards picking up some removal. Are we just like at 11 dudes at this point? I bet it's like, yeah, we're at 9 creatures, 2 non-creatures, and the 2 non-creatures are Shadow Beast sighting. So we're going to have to do a bit of work to get spells into our deck, and so hopefully we can look to table either a Silverbolt or a Candle Trap out of this one. Adeline, quite good. Okay, and then we can continue on with the Dualcraft Trainer, just a really high-powered bro. Lots of decks just can't beat this. Green-white has issues with it. Blue-green has issues with it. Basically, if you're not playing black, this guy has the potential to cause like real problems for your opponent. Like especially if your removal spell package involves a bunch of just like enchantments. Like if you Locked in the Cemetery doesn't do anything against the trainer. Okay. Well, here's where we finally get to pick up a Flare of Faith. Again, I'm not looking for too many of these, but as far as these things go, like our curve is looking pretty good. There's not any units here to be taking, and so I feel good with the Flare of Faith. I think our top end is looking pretty nice here. Like I would like to find the 4/5 Vigilance green guy that costs 5 mana to replace the Candlelit Cavalry with, but at this stage, he's looking pretty reasonable. And then here, this one's kind of tough for me. If we're just looking at the green and white cards, that's all that's like really relevant at this point between the Flare of Faith, the Pestilent Wolf, and the Snarling Wolf. Like, I think we have to take the spell because we're just really lacking in spells, but I would rather be having these packs to where it's like we're making the decision between like Flare of Faith and Candlelit Cavalry, and then we just get to take the spell in that point and then really focus on our early picks here. But I think that given we only have one interactive card at this point, we just have to come in and take the second Flare of Faith. Okay. Well, here I'm going to go in with the Lunarch Veteran. It's not really high powered. This plays a lot better in the kind of the blue-white Flyers decks, since you can stall the board and you can just race back and forth, and this really helps you win the races. But I think we have like 3 4-drops at this point, and I'm not really looking to add in a Broodweaver. So let's pick up the Veteran as just a kind of a curve filler here. All right, so with these, I don't suspect we're going to play Unruly Mob. This really doesn't play into the green-white archetype, but there's nothing else for us here. Look at this Defense Straight rolling around at pick 6, but we're not going to play Bounding Wolf. We've already moved on from the one that we have, but we are still kind of looking for some 2-drops here. Okay, and then the Pestilent Wolf, Snarling Wolf package shows up. I'm just going to lean into the Snarling Wolf here. I tend to like how these play a little bit better in Coven decks. I think the Pestilent Wolf plays better in decks trying to be a little bit more defensive. But we just got gifted one either way. The Tireless Hauler for our top end came back. That's quite good. Okay, things are happening. maybe we clicked bless Defiance a little bit too quickly, but I think I don't really want to play more than 2 combat tricks, so I think we're good with the 2 Flare of Faiths. Just there's a bless Defiance, whether we wanted it or not. But yeah, so like at this stage, we're really just lacking removal. Like the pack with the Candle Trap, Silver Bolts didn't table anything to us. Like I could see a world where we even end up having to play a Plummet here, just to have like something, right? I don't want to be coming out here with this deck that has 21 creatures and then and then 2 combat tricks in it. So we're gonna have to put a little bit of work into that. I'm gonna take the Briarbridge tracker here. This unit's just fantastic, but we hopefully we've got this Candle Trap here. This is what we'd be looking to table. Otherwise, there's just no actual cards in this pack. But these are quite strong. Just a guaranteed, no, not guaranteed, but pretty generally a 2-for-1, and then it's just any token that turns this into a 4/3. And so if we have something like Adeline, or if we have the Shadow Beast sighting, she's going to keep her stats even if we sacrifice off the clue. Okay. So yeah, we just need a little bit of interactivity. We'll do whatever it takes at this point to pick up some Duel for Dominances, or we'd prefer to have Crossbow Shot. But whatever. I'm not going to be picky about removal at this point. So yeah, another pack, no removal, nothing we can do about it. I'm looking at the Candlegrove Witch here. I don't really want to be stacking up on too many 3-drop or 4-drops. The Silversmith would be fine, but I think the Duelcraft Trainer does kind of the same thing, but just much better. So I'm going to come in on the Candlegrove Witch. Alrighty, well, another pack, no removals. This is getting a bit problematic. With these, I'm just going to go with the Tireless Hauler. I don't think this is the kind of deck we get too much value out of the Rise of the Ants. Like, I do really like Rise of the Ants, but I want it to be in a deck that's doing a lot of self-mill, so like a blue-green or a blue-black deck, not so much in green-white or green-red. So we'll let that one go. We'll just pick up the big boy here in the Tireless Hauler, looking to move Candlelit Cavalry back out of our deck at this point. Man, this is tough. This is tough. Just the green-white removals have always showed up in like the first 3 picks, and then it hasn't made an appearance after that. So I think I'd still rather have a Trapper than a Blessed Defiance. This is gonna be our this is gonna be our only interactivity apparently. Picking up him. I think we're really stuck here picking up something like Howl of the Hunt again, just to have something to interact with. All right. Well, yeah, we're not gonna no removal spells today, just combat tricks. So this one's tough. I think I just want to go with the Candlegrove Witch here. Like, I know I've been harping on and on about picking up these tricks, but this is kind of our premier common 2-drop. So I want to go ahead and snatch up the Witch while we can. Here, another reasonably weak set of cards. We'll go with the Commando. All right. All right. Yeah, we'll play the 4 Snarling Wolf deck. That's the stuff right there. No, we will not be doing that. We will not be playing 4 Snarling Wolves, but the aggro in me makes me really want to do it. But here, Homestead Courage is fine. I think this one's quite underrated as the means to make your dudes bigger, start to hit your covens, and then get in some big vigilance style attacks. I think I'm quite happy to be picking those up. We're not going to play tapping at the window. But yeah, it's like as we see this, it's like I'd want to take out Pestilent Wolf. I think all of our 4-drops just stay. We have three 5s. I don't want to play any more than that, so we'll just pick up more Cathar Commandos. As far as the units down here go, this is not an Unruly Mob deck. We filled out the bottom end of our curve, so that can go. Gotta make a few more cuts here. I want to hang on to the Harvesttide Sentries. I think these are a little bit more important than Cathar Commandos, just that they can come down a little bit more aggressively. Right, there's a good chance this thing can't be blocked. Ooh, Might of the Old Ways tabled. That's fairly important for us. Okay. So yeah, let's see where this gets us. I mean, as the thing loads up, it's like I can kind of see that we have 6, 7 2-drops, which is pretty good. I think I'm kind of like immediately looking to take out 2 Snarling Wolves. I think that's fairly easy. The Lunarch Veteran can go. We're not really building around this thing. And then where does that get our counts? Like, we're kind of stuck with a bunch of a big old bunch of creatures here. We have 21 creatures and 7 non-creatures. But I think as far as these go, I think I kind of want to hang on to the Candlelit Cavalry. It's a little bit expensive. Like, playing 3 5-drops doesn't seem too advisable. So I think that one can go. So we're at 2 5s. The 2 Shadow Beast sightings and the Duelcraft Trainer are good. And then we're just kind of stuck with kind of combat tricks at this point. So Adeline, Dawn Guard, Tracker, Hound Tamer. These are all staying forever. So we're just kind of looking down the curve now. I don't want to drop below 6 2-drops, so I think we can go with 1 Cathar Commando and then 1 Snarling Wolf. And so that gives us 9 1s and 2s, right? We got 3 1s and then 7 or 6 2s. 2, 6, 7. I think that's good. 4 3s, 3 4s, 2 5s. I think that looks pretty good here. I'm happy with how all those numbers look. Yeah, so I mean, this came together fine. Creature and interactivity wise, we just don't have any removal. It's just not really the place to be. We're counting on Gavany Trapper to put in a bit of work here today. But it is what it is. We're ready for battle. Okay, so on the play, I don't think we can keep hands like this. Even if we hit a plains immediately, it doesn't do anything here. So we have to mulligan this away. This is a little better. Keep the 6. We'll get rid of a land. Hopefully, we'll pick one up by turn 4, and then go ahead and start curving out. It's not unreasonable to think that this Candlegrove Witch would be able to attack on 3. We have, if we draw a 3-drop, we do have a bunch of 3 attack units in our deck. So even in the 2 space, we can still hit with the Witch. All right, well, this isn't going as hoped. Ooh, opponent playing 3 colors, huh? Sure. Prevent that point of damage. Okay, then I just don't think the Duelcraft Trainer really does anything here. I'm going to go ahead and add in the Briarbridge Tracker. Well, I mean, it does from a mana perspective, I should say. Maybe we do add it. Because then potentially next turn, if we draw another land, we have the choice to either Trapper Tracker, or we can just play the Tireless Hauler. Both of which, though, will turn our Duelcraft Trainer into a double striker. If he doesn't have another removal spell here, we're guaranteed to hit the Coven. A little unfortunate. Opponent is a ton of cards ahead of us. This is mainly a function of them, us mulliganing and them being on the draw, but might have recovered a little bit here. The Hound Tamer is fairly scary. If he wants to come in and trade off Hound Tamer, that's fine. This would be our blowout turn if we had a combat trick, but we have no answer to him just sitting around and putting +1/+1s on all of his units. Let's go ahead and tap his unit. I'd like to attack with a 4/3 tracker next turn, so I don't want to pop the clue now. And then it's like, well, maybe we'll hit like a Shadow Beast sighting, be able to keep the bonus up. Oh my gosh, they're tapping mana. You just got Bounding Wolves or something. I think we just go ahead and trade. We can pop the clue here and see if we draw a combat trick. We still end up trading without the +2 attack bonus. Gotta be kidding me. I guess it's better that it hits the tracker than opposed to hitting our trapper. Oh, no damage. Shadow Beast. Okay. I don't think you can ever flash this back, right? You have to have a Planeswalker. I guess he he can. It just takes a little bit. Then here, I want to go ahead and drop the Shadow Beast sighting before he's able to flip his Death Bonnet Sprout. I think we have to like stop attacking for the moment. It's just like if we attack, then he immediately just gets to hit the Sprout. Not a huge fan of that. Okay, we have no answers to these things other than. Oh, he didn't give a Death Touch. That's cool. Alright, but we can't attack here. We have to take down the Stalking Predator. Let's see, like... It's so bad if we just like attack with these Shadow Beasts and he makes like any of these blocks, right? If he puts Wing Shredder or Occultist in front of one, Bounding Wolf Hulk in front of the two, and then at the end of the day, we trade our 4/4s for an Occultist and a Death Bonnet Hulk, like that's miserably bad. He's going to get to start growing this Hulk, though. There's nothing we can do about it. We're going to have a... Oh, shit. I forgot to tap. I was going to say, we're going to have a pretty tough time doing anything to win this one, but... we'll give it our best. This, like, reeks of a combat trick, but... I mean, we have to have something go right. Alright, well there's the Flare of Faith to potentially do something. Sorry, our chance to claw back in this. Oh, this thing has Menace? Oh, fuck. We're just dead now. Right, we can't double block the Predator. He can come in for 3. Oh geez, we weren't beating Consuming Blob anyways. No, nothing about this one was going to go well, but sure. All right, let's see if we can't recover a little bit. With this one, like I have no delusions that we're getting 7 wins with it or 6 wins, whatever the max is in this game. But if we can get up to like that 1400 gem level, then I'll feel like this one was a bit of a success. Like we didn't get like the super high powered deck here. We don't have any removal, so I think it's more than capable of hitting that like 1400 or 1600 gem level. I just don't. I don't imagine this is ever a 7 winner. But we're gonna try. We're gonna get there. Let's see. Well, it's got a curve and some power to it. So let's go ahead and keep this one. This is actually really strong on the play. Like we can make these things where we. Well, we're gonna get like free tokens out of the Harvesttide Sentry if we want. It's just you can't get the Coven, right? We can't. Well, Adeline will give us. No, Adeline's gonna make for a 3. The struggles. Right, she'll come down as a 3/4. We won't have a Coven. Tempted to just like attack with the Sentry and Howl of the Hunted. Curious what opponent does here. No blocks. Could block with the Trapper. Will we trade the Trapper for, like, it's not ideal to trade the Trapper for a like a combat trick, but I think I'm okay with it. We have like all the tools we need to be aggressive here. Yeah, it's like Neo Knight's Blessing would be the bad one, but all right. So this is where we get popped by like a Loyal Cathar. I think I'm okay with that. I want to get the 1/1 token. Like if we trade the Sentry for a Cathar and get a token at the end of the day, I think that's a pretty good deal. Loyal Cathar. Cathar Commando. This is the what I would assume opponent's going to play here. Getting the flash unit on board. Boop. Boop. All right, the big decisions are being made. Sacred Fire. Okay. He's got the shutdown on our 1/1 humans though with this Voldaren Stinger. All right. Gotta win. Cruising through Diamond 3 now, am I right? Am I right? We're making some upgrades. It's been kind of slow progress. We kind of hit a wall once we got into Diamond. I figured it would hit somewhere. Like I didn't know where it was gonna be. If it was gonna be in like Platinum or Diamond, since we haven't played Magic in so long. But I think we're starting to climb out of that hole. All right. Well, not a particularly strong draw, but I think we have to keep the 7 on this. We get 2 draws at being on curve, and then we have at least the Cathar Commando with the combat trick into Shadow Beast sighting. Kessig Naturalist. This really sucks because if we don't play the spell, then this thing just gets to flip. But all right, I prefer to have his unit not attacking, and if it does attack, I want to trade. All right, Lord of the Ulvenwald really wants to be attacking because it generates the mana. Okay. Let's say he's going to play a trick here. We can respond with ours. Oh, the first strike one? Fuck. Not bad, dude. Not bad. See, he flipped it back today. That's at least one of the perks here. All right, well, we got some recovery happening. Oh man, I'm tempted to just take it. Oh, he's got a spell. Sure. Right. If we were gonna have the play to where we could have our dude play Adeline, she would get an attack, and then we would have our Coven for the Might of the Old Ways. That would have been pretty nice. Didn't come together. I think we just have to block and hope for the best. We can't try to get the card advantage off of this Might of the Old Ways. Because if they got a trick, they got a trick. Oh, not letting us block. Fair enough. I believe we are just dead now. There's no way we can. Well, he can. Yeah, he can just stop our only unit from blocking. We didn't have any choice. It's a little bit too awkward. I think we would have been fine if we picked up any of our 1s and 2s, like around the 3rd turn or so. But I think that's still like an okay keep, especially if we weren't like playing against that bonkers of a curve. Like if their combat trick was anything except the first strike one, and we're able to take that unit off the board, then we're looking pretty strong there. But having the first strike combat trick to take us all down was a little much. Okay, another reasonable start. And we're losing games on the play too. That feels really bad. I guess one of them was a mulligan to 6, but painful. Okay. Sure. So, are we willing to like? Well, there's 2 options we have here, right? We can accept a trade with Candlegrove Rich onto the Flame Channeler, which I'm kind of okay with, or we can play Trick. And like I get the I don't want to be like all in on these enchantments against a blue deck. Like we have some potential for things to go wrong with both Howl of the Hunt and Shadow Beast sighting. But I think I'm okay to just trade off a Witch here. Like I think that they're going to be like kind of stalling is my suspicion with this. If they're playing the Startle on the 2nd turn to just come out here and draw cards. So I think it's okay. I'd rather just get something on board. Seems to be the case. Ever closer to this to this handful of wins. Okay, reasonable enough start here with the 2/2s, a combat trick, and the Duelcraft Trainer. Let's keep that one. We'll just lead out with the big attacker here. They don't have a play. I want to punch in the extra damage. Okay, we'll just play the Cathar Commando on their turn. I don't think we're going to be hitting a Coven with these. We have the Howl of the Hunt, but we just don't. We'd have to be like hitting a Snarling Wolf, something like that to get it going. Okay, let's get our dual crafter down. You play it before attacks so that the the turn auto passes. Tips and tricks coming from FTP Bust. Opponents tapped out, just make it go faster. So if we draw a land, we have potential just to go ham next turn, right? We can potentially Candlegrove Witch, Howl of the Hunt, our Cathar, and then just get in for tons of double strike damage. I think I like it. Let's do this. Let's add the Witch. I'm going to play the Howl of the Hunt on our Commando. And then I'm going to double strike our Dualcraft Trainer. So they're going to get bombed for damage either way. Okay. We're getting close. Getting close. He's tapped out. We win. We can just double strike our Candlegrove Witch. The power of the Dualcraft Trainer. I tell you, that guy brings a lot to the table. They're just playing against decks that aren't base black with all of the good removal spells. He just has tons of potential to take over a game. Where are we at? The 1,000 gems? Alright, we're feeling good if we pick up one more. One more dealer. Alright, on the draw on this one, these hands are super sketch. I think I'm going to keep it, but you're counting on so much to go right with these two combat tricks. But if we draw another unit early, then it feels fine. F is this thing? Can't be blocked. Oh no, this thing is the thing that just draws cards every turn and can't be blocked. We have absolutely no answer to this. Draw a card, discard a card, then on the flip side, it just draws cards, right? Okay, well, we can let them loot, I guess. We just can't let them be drawing cards. The struggle for the no removal deck. Dudes like that. But hopefully we can just aggro through this. He's not really presenting any threats to us up to this point. Can blast through the zombie. See how they block. He knows that we have like the token generation with the Hound Tamer as well. So they may not send in a ton of stuff. I think I just want to play the more expensive one in the Howl of the Hunt here. This does open us up to getting bombed by removal. But I think this is where we want to be. Okay. Get your loot. I imagine this is going to be a bit of a struggle from this point forward. Gotta start having removal spells, right? Got to. There's not a super good reason to hit a Coven. Well, we can play like the Witch. So if we want to Might of the Old Ways, we get to draw the card off of it. I don't think that's going to be necessary. I feel like we're just going to get defense traded here. No ways to pass out indestructibles. No enchantments to bomb. Okay. Decline. You're done. You're done for. Get our dire stains on the board. We could have looked to take away their card draw from the werewolf, but I think this is okay. We're looking pretty big here. As long as they aren't piling removal onto us, I think we're fine. And then the big thing with this collection of units is the Untamed Pup on the back end has trample. Oh, he gives everything trample. Oh. Oh, mathematics. Oh, he took it away. Dick. It's kind of a dick move, bro. But all right, let's pick up a Coven in case we want it. Get in with everything. It's 5. I was like, I kind of wanted to hang on to the Flare of Faith if possible, so that we could get in the additional point of trample damage on our next attack. But not in the cards. Really close to lethal here, though. That feels good. I like things that feel good. Okay. We've only got 2 blockers at this point. We're just like lethal with what's on board. It's only got the Mentor and the Organ Hoarder. We can get in for 3 with the Witch and the Snarling Wolf. Now he's tapped out. So we win. Let's make sure, just stop and make sure we don't mess this up, but we're good. You can't block our Candlegrove Witch. We're just lethal on board if he does that. Nice. Racking in them victories. Racking them in. Feels good. We're up to the 1400 gems now, right? Okay, success. Success. I call this one a success. This was kind of one of the things that why I kind of wish that there was a ranked in Runeterra. It's just in the sense that, to me, like at this point, we've won this draft. Like anything beyond these gems is just pure upside from this point. Like, you know, we didn't get dumpstered on. We only lost 100 at worst. That's pretty good. But in Runeterra, there was just never that feeling as to whether or not, you know, there was never any payoff, right? You could just like quit at the beginning if you got a bad draft and restart, because there was no reason to kind of not do it. Whereas here, churning out these games to where we're able to pick up some value is quite important. But with this is slightly sketch. If we don't hit a plains, we can't do the Dawn Guard. But I think I'm still just going to hang on to it. We're feeling good up to this point. Why not just keep it going? Could have waited till opponent's turn on the commando, but what is this? Oh, the dude that generates zombies every turn. The beginning of your end step, if you control no creatures with decay, create the zombie. Okay. I have to play a combat trick if he blocks. It's the unfortunateness of this hand. We can't just lose our one dude when we're sitting on 3 combat tricks and nothing else happening. Okay. I was gonna say I don't know what your game is with this attack, but I'll take whatever spell you're playing. I'll have anything with that. I'm gonna Howl of the Hunt. We just can't be passing and losing out on our mana here. Should have played it pre-combat. That was messed up. We didn't get to untap it. We're probably gonna take some unnecessary damage here. But again, this is another one of these turns where we just can't pass. Oh yeah, man, oh, that was bad. This turn would have been so much less explosive if we'd had an untapped Cathar Commando. Can't be making mistakes like that and finding your way to Mythic. Just impossible. Hit with his little. I don't think we can risk it here. The commando is all we have going. We have ways to protect it in combat. We just can't play any of them right there. All right, interesting. You just do nothings. I don't understand that. What does this hand look like where he just doesn't do anything here? Could see him playing a 6. It would be like Dreadhound, though. So weird. Starts taking blocks again. Okay. But then he doesn't have tricks on his side? Interesting. That's just a cycle. Such a weird game. I don't know what they would ever be holding here. All right. So yeah, that was a little sloppy. We should have that game. I think would have gone much better if we'd howl of the thing on the Cathar Commando, so it got to attack untapped. That was a big mistake. We could have shut down that he had that big explosive turn that I thought we were really going to get punished for. where they played the famished foragers. We couldn't have shut down the entirety of that play, but we could have killed off their zombie generator, and we probably took an extra like 5 or 6 damage because of it. But okay, okay. Gotta be doing better than that, though. We got lucky. I don't know what the fuck was going on with that guy's hand, but it just had to have been a complete flood for it to play out like that. But worked for us. All right. In the positive now. That feels good, right? That feels good. Yeah, that was one of the like the big downsides to Runeterra Expedition. Like, not only did they like, I get that they gutted the rewards. They took the champion stuff out. Like, it was a pretty big ask of people to play, 3 expeditions a week to pick up their champions. It was going to, be nice for me in terms of content creation, but not so much for the general public. Here, we can go ahead and keep this. This is fine. But yeah, then they never did anything to replace that, and it was tough. The reasoning for playing was so flat. Like, I quit so many drafts just to make new content. I can't do that here. It's so expensive to do that in Magic. But with this, nonetheless, let's focus back on this game. I'm going to go with the Candlegrove Witch here instead in place of the Cathar. We're going to have this Witch, Dawn Guard, Shadow Beast sighting curve, and probably a reasonable chance that we want to be hitting with a flying Candlegrove Witch. Oh, bringing them aggro interlopers. Again, nothing we can do about it. That's not what our deck does. Our deck doesn't do shit about shit. It just comes out here and gets into combat and hopes for the best. But we can handle this. Keep playing on curve here. It's not the best Flare of Faith, but taking down the Rejuvenator is going to be good. It should be like super obvious that we're up to shenanigans, and that's fine. Cathar Commando does not look good against the Timberland Guide board, though. I give it that. Maybe he'll attack with it. That would be cool. I wonder if there's a world where we should have blocked that. Like, we're the ones falling low on life, but we're just gonna start like smashing on this board. We're about to ramp up tons of damage. There's the Coven. We'll go with the expensive route here as opposed to playing the Shadow Beast sighting. I think that also works out in terms of if they have, discard cards here later. Discarding the Shadow Beast sighting would be better than discarding the Tireless Hauler. So I'd say the Siege Zombie has to trade with the Cathar Commando now. And then if he has a combat trick, it's okay. Like, if he combat tricks into Dawn Guard, I think it's fine. I think this is all good. And Siege Zombie for Dawn Guard? Yep. We can't sit around and play a value game. There's no way that's happening here. You get reach. you gotta check with some of these werewolves. Like, maybe you get reach. Why not? Why wouldn't you? Contortionist Troop is awful. Oh, we gotta draw a trick now. We're losing out on attacking. Shit. Alright, well, I'm gonna play all of our cards. Hopefully, opponent has to go into night. But we at least drew some answers to this flying stuff for the moment. No attacks, okay. Now, do we want to do this thing on our turn, where we shut down the troop? We can't. We die if we do that. Can't flash back our Shadow Beast sighting, or we'll also die. Okay. No attacks. I think we're dead here. Not sure what we draw to get ourselves out of this. It's like maybe some weird dual-craft trainer. I don't think that's going to be the case. Wow. Wow. Alright, something good. Alright, Force doesn't do it. Good game, my man. So, okay, yeah. I mean, that's a weird one to be losing, but I think it turned out okay. I think we had the right game plan there, where we were just kind of smashing bigger attacks, and really can't suspect them to play a big contortionist troop. That's kind of out of the question. But not bad, not bad. Let's get this one pulled up and talk about it a little bit more. Okay, so yeah. As far as the deck itself goes, I mean, we talked about the problems. We know what we ran into is we didn't find any removal along the way, and just not much you can do about that. Like, it seems like in every pack where we saw it, between like the common ones being Candle Trap and things like Duel for Dominance, it seemed like they were always pick like 1, 2, or 3, and then we just never had it come together where those late cards ever made an appearance. And so ideally, like I haven't like decided on what I think to be kind of like the premier number of combat tricks. I think I 100% will admit that I don't play enough. I need to be playing more Flare of Faiths, I think more commonly. Might of the Old Ways and Howl of the Hunt, not as interesting as Flare of Faith. But I think that's one of my problems these days, is I'm not playing enough of these kind of interactive combat tricks. I find myself too frequently in these spaces to where we can't find any good attacks because we don't have a way to give any of our units plus stats. And so I've been keeping that in my mind as these drafts go on. In this draft, we had to like just go out of our way and do it, right? You can't just be playing a deck of 23 creatures. And so we did end up with the 2 Flare Face, the Might of the Old Ways, and the Howl of the Hunt. Fine, right? But that's not ideal. But we at least picked up on we picked up on, hey bro, you're drafting 23 creatures here. You can't do that. And so I think that was at least good to go out of our way to pick up these tricks, where in a lot of drafts we would just have been picking up the units. But then otherwise in the Coven deck specifically, I really like, the Candlegrove Witch and the Harvesttide Sentry as our kind of evasive units, and then it's very easy to pick up the kind of the 3 drops and beyond. Again, the kind of the big things with this, I do like Dualcraft Trainer in these decks. Just so many decks that can't beat a Dualcraft Trainer. Our deck here today can't beat a Dualcraft Trainer. Just passing out these double strikes is huge. So you got to look at him as a big game ender. Tireless Tribe is my preferred common game ender. Our big boy, I like this better than the 5/5 Coven Trample thing. Just having the vigilance is what is really huge with this. When you get into these kind of board stall spaces, this is what lets you continue to attack. So a lot of times, it didn't show up much here today, but a lot of times you'll have attack with like Candlegrove Witch and then Tireless Hauler, and then hopefully be able to protect a big block with a Flare of Faith. And so he's our preferred top end, and then I do still think Shadow Beast Sighting is the best green card, or the best green common in the set, and this is kind of what we used as our kind of barometer as to is green open or not, and it felt like it was. So otherwise, yeah, the only other real notes, I usually want like a minimum of 6 2-drops, and then I think you want to get up to about like 8 or 9 between your 2s and your 1s and your 2s. It's just very easy to get to the end of these drafts to where you're like, well, the Sentry is fairly mediocre and the Wolf is fairly mediocre, so I'm not going to take him. And then you look down at your draft and you have like 1 Gavany Trapper and 2 Candlegrove Witches, and your deck is just not doing what green light wants to be doing. So I think we handled our curve here quite well. So yeah, good stuff with the green white. Let me see if we can get this deck pulled up here real quick into the draft section. Again, like I don't think Curse of Surveillance is bad. I think this has a place. I know a lot of people in this format would just be opening with Curse of Surveillance because it's arguably blue is the best color, puts you into the best decks, and so why not take a passable rare out of the best color? It's just I think there's just so many decks that don't actually want this though, and there's so many board states to where you can't play it. I think it's a safe pass. And then so if we're not going to take the Curse of Surveillance, I think we're on board with Gavany Dawnguard being the best card after that. Bereaved Survivor's fine. You have a lot of decks where this just goes ham and crushes, but the Gavany Dawnguard is one of our few ways to actually pick up card advantage, and being a 3/3 for 3 is just it shuts down a lot of our opponent's boards, especially against the blue decks to where they don't have 3 attack 2 drops, and for the large part they don't have 3 attack 3 drops, and so he has a lot of potential to do work. In pack 2, I think this was a pretty safe place to pick up a Vampire Socialite. I think, as I think about it more, I'm still pretty happy with this pack. You know, the Candlegrove Witch would have played nicely here, but if you're going to get vampires to work, like this is it. This is the bro that outside of the rare, right? The whatever the rare is that draws a bunch of cards. Vampire Socialite gives you a lot of potential for a lot of raw power. Has a lot of potential to get in these evasive attacks with the menace to help keep the damage theme going. I think this is a fairly safe place to try and high roll on the Vampire Socialite. And again, the Hungry for More did end up tabling, and I think that's going to be a fairly common occurrence. And so I think the Socialite here was still good. Into pack 3. I don't think there's a reason to take Gavany Silversmith. We talked about this one a little bit. The Silversmith, if you want to stick into white, the Hound Tamer is the highest quality card overall. And then we did see the Duel for Dominance that we were surprised that we were going to end up needing, but didn't end up with this. This is a pretty easy Hound Tamer, I think. Pick 4, we're sticking to the green-white. The only playable is the Trapper. That's a fairly easy one. And then pick 5 here, I think this is what solidifies us as green being open and finding these Shadow Beast sightings. It's tough, right? If we're out here drafting green, I don't think I want to be the guy taking Shadow Beast sighting like pick 1, 2, 3, or maybe even 4. But I think pick 5 is where this is. You're just like, okay, well, maybe we can do it. And if it shows up at like pick 6, 7, or 8, then absolutely smash in on green. But this I think this 5 or 6 is where these Shadow Beast sightings belong, and then 7 and 8 is your kind of, oh yeah, green's open signal. But love these Shadow Beast sightings. Now I think it was pretty straightforward from the rest of the draft here. We're not playing an eccentric farmer deck, so we take the Cathar Commando. Again, we're not playing a Clarion Cathar deck. This plays into black-white. Harvest Sentry's fine. And then the only thing of note here, I think, well, see, here's where we're seeing some of these kind of problems that I have, right? I don't remember if I talked about it in the draft. We certainly did post-game. I don't rate these kind of Flare of Faith cards high enough. I think it's more important to have the units, and so I see the argument with the Cathar Commando here. I think here this is probably where we should be taking Candle Traps over Shadow Beast sightings. So it's so tough though. Like the Shadow Beast sighting's so good. That is tough. Like Candle Trap doesn't belong at 9th pick either. I think this is probably a mistake. Like we can reasonably easily enough like slot in another 5-drop or another big dude, but not having removal at the end of the day was bad. I'm not sure which of these I like more. This is close. I would have to have an expert tell me on this one. At the end of the day, like once in hindsight, I want the Candle Trap, but it's so easy in these drafts to where it's like, oh well, I got a pick 8 Duel for Dominance and a pick 9 Candle Trap, and we just need like 2 or 3 removal spells to where we would really want the Shadow Beast sighting here. So this one's tough. At the end of the day, I think we'd want the trap, but in this draft specifically, I do like the Shadow Beast sighting here. And as we move on, Hungry for More tabled. And then the rest of the way, Adeline was a very strong open. We didn't get to see too much of her, but you could see the raw power in this. It's very easy for her to be a 4/4 Vigilance on 4. Very, very strong unit. There was a Silver Bolts in there, didn't table. The Duelcraft Trainer, high-powered stuff. Good and happy to pick him up. And then these packs kind of weaken out. Pack 2 wasn't that strong for us, but I think this played out okay. Pack 3, not a lot going on. We are really locked into green-white here. The tracker is a great open. And then no removal spells. No removal spells. And no removal spells. Kind of the gift and the curse of this draft. But yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that one. That was fun. I'm glad that we got our investment back in a draft that didn't go particularly well. And I had a lot of fun with that, and that was good stuff. Hope you all enjoyed it as well. So let's jump back in. I do think we have a handful of rewards to click on. So we'll jump in on those. I got to remember to use the gold as well. We got the gold buy-in for this thing. I haven't really been playing constructed with the gold buy-ins. Getting close, but haven't quite done that yet. All right, what are we getting up here? We're getting, oh man, we got 4 rare wild cards. I didn't realize we were so far along. Go me. So cool. Shipwreck Marsh. We're getting close to picking up all of the dual lands in this format. Light up the night, sure. Expel still good and limited. Nothing has changed. Fireball is still good. Croaking Counterpart. Still haven't got the chance to try this. It doesn't, like, I see it. It's the kind of the struggle with it is like, if this was, like ultra high level Pro Tour drafting, you could see this come around late. Like you really get the payoff as being like the Simic drafter and having cards like this show up super late. But given that this is a rare, like people are just going to take it, right? If it rolls around at pick 7 and there's no other cards, then you'll just take the rare. And so it's kind of a struggle to pick these up in limited. All right, and our last one. The Selesnya. Drafted that in our previous video. It was okay. I think we drafted just too many late game cards in that one. It's a very reasonable loot game ender kind of thing. Very strong. But yeah, that's going to do it for us today. So that was a fun little trial. I hope you all enjoyed all the Cathars. You maybe learned a thing or two along the way. Maybe you had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.